August started with blue nails and fun in the sun. On the 3rd of August, I masked up, wore a cap and finally got out of the house to meet a schoolmate turned sister in Christ for a fun day out under the sun. Hi, Christine. Okay. Green seas, but we have no choice. Now picnic. Such a wholesome meal with noodles, Thai milk tea and toast that we ate very early on. Inverted noodles.
So funny.
Yours also. How is it? Are you enjoying yourself?
I guess so.
We got inverted noodles that cannot be broken.
I'm trying to figure out how to eat this properly.
The toast is surprisingly yummy and really reminds me of my SMU days. Our plan was initially to do some walking trails at Sentosa, but guess what? We ended up just lazing around and chit-chatting on our picnic mat till the sunset. I guess this is the side effect of doing law. You know, you just feel so tired you can't do anything physical. It was certainly a restful day and a very great catch-up. That same week, on the 6th of August, guess who I hung out with and what were we queuing for? This place was an unexpected pit stop because our plan was to cycle all the way to Around Cafe to get acai bowls, which we eventually did not get. You can tell how famous it is just by the number of people in the queue. Once we got all our goodies, we went on our way to Around Cafe. Unfortunately, they didn't allow us to use our purple deal, so we just soaked in the pretty atmosphere and had our donuts, while Reggie tried to find out where to get mala. How is it?
Wow.
Good?
Wow. It's like there's sugar bits outside, right? That makes it sweet. And then the lemon curd is like has a tangy, zesty, refreshing feel.
Advertisement.
Goes so well together.
Fantastic.
Hey, try it.
Okay, I'll try.
For it. Mmm.
It's really good.
It's
It's
like
like
London.
Wow, tastes like
It's just very
London.
bitter, just the way I like it.
Oh, really? Ayo, the background noise.
Never mind. It's nice, it's nice.
Wow, look at that hojicha oozing out. Cheers! This is something I've always taken for granted whenever I go on cycling trips because my friends have always been the one locking up bikes while I just enjoy the ride. Now I suddenly feel so grateful. Are you a mala fan too? So this is the famous Ri Ri Hong, but it's the brunch at Tampines. After we had lunch, Richie showed me her room, and this is all evidence of her passion for flowers. She's so amazing because these days it's really hard to have passion for anything at all. We also had a good sharing about growing a business and the hunger problem in Singapore. I don't know, but I really feel very compelled to do something to help children, specifically hungry children, because I just feel like a country so wealthy as Singapore should not have hungry children. We then had a very unplanned, wholesome dinner, which was leftover soup. I was so amazed by this little egg pan. The dumplings were yummy and we also had them with noodles, which was super good. The day was completely unplanned. Everything was unplanned because nothing went according to plan. And I just really felt God's grace throughout the day. Had the pistachio lemon loaf for breakfast the next day. Now it seems like to live a best life, you just have to get vaccinated. If not, you can't even eat out and you can't even dine out. And I guess another plus point is that we get to have a vaccine date. We had waffles both after our first and second vaccines. and then chatted quite a bit. And guess who we saw again? Coincidental. This was surprisingly delicious. Also snacked on dark chocolate ice cream from the Dearest Flower Girl. On the 9th of August, we pretended to be patriotic.
还叫你 Ooh, you didn't come find us.
Took a stroll and the sunset was really beautiful that day. Are you getting the holiday vibes? Just feels so chill. And everything is so serene. I kind of want to try stand-up paddleboarding someday. Just listen to the sound of waves. Red, white, red and white. Really cheap thrills. One night I went running and I heard this very loud noise and discovered that it was some cranes pecking on the floor. My latest discovery is iced tea. Essentially, you make tea and put a lot of ice and it just tastes so good. I was also really into oats at the start of August. This was with cinnamon, milk, chia seeds and some peanut butter. I think it tasted alright. It doesn't look fantastic at all, but it's for health. One day I decided to use the tiny mini pan to cook egg and some basil. That same night, things got hot. Sparks definitely flew, but please do not try this at home. Maybe try at your office or your boss's office. Oh my, what am I insinuating? I think this is a Friday night that I'll never have again. But I also realized that sometimes it's not about the activity or the food or anything, and it's the company that makes all the difference. I'm the kind of person who really loves a good conversation. I love it when I learn something from someone during a conversation, whether it's about them, about myself, or just about the world in general. Back to the point, the steak was actually quite good. I'm so surprised. They were more smoked than barbecued. I'm honestly pretty amazed by how a small little portable barbecue set can cook this steak. Also discovered this new snack. It's called Snyder's and they're so addictive. They're so good. I can eat them all day, all night. And they were my favorite thing on this board. I think honestly this was the first time I was seriously attacked by ants and they were so painful. The next day on the 14th of August, I said goodbye to one of my plants. We always have a good time trying to be domestic goddesses. Oh dear, the sudden realization. A sign of insanity. You know, the older you grow, the easier it is to drift away from your friends. And I'm so glad that we make it a point to meet every single month to do something fun together. Sometimes we don't even realize that actually we've known each other for more than a decade. We were friends since 13, so it's actually been 14 years, wow. Back when we were 13, we were actually from the same CCA, which was band. So one of us plays the French horn and two of us play the trumpet. I think we also roomed together when we were in Brisbane for a band trip. And those were really funny days. I don't think that any of us predicted that this is how our friendship would evolve and that we would actually still keep in contact even after all these years. I suppose our friendship is a bit like this tamago filled with layers and layers of history, memories and strange happenings from time to time, like the crazy amounts of dashi we added. And I'm so glad that the layers turned out to be beautiful, even if there were some parts that were ugly. I guess a good friendship is made up of intentionality, cohesiveness, forgiveness, and acceptance. Yeah. Stay tuned for our future cooking activities because there will definitely be more to come. We clearly added too much dashi. Shh. Ye was also introduced to this really yummy mochi ice cream that I've never heard of. And yes, we finally did our nails together. The next day, I saw Horsey for the first time while exercising at the usual spot. What a delightful surprise! That week, my company decided to send us some really exotic fruits. There's like some cool yellow dragon fruit, passion fruit. The grapes were so good. Mango was a tad sour, but everything else was pretty good. I clearly could not get over the weekend, so I left Monday night as though it was a weekend night and went to East Coast Lagoon to have some food. Carrot cake was a waste of calories, but the oyster omelette was so good. One lunch, I incorporated some of the fruits into my crazy oats and also had my iced tea. It's the latest obsession. I also tried cooking Jap curry. It was so good too. It's so simple. It's just potatoes and carrots and it tastes great. This was my failed chia pudding attempt. Clearly pudding isn't supposed to be so watery. I guess I added too much water. Snacked on the yummy sweet kiwis from the office. I'm a snacker. And there was one day I attempted to make a mini kimchi fried rice because no one else was having lunch. Yeah, it was finally Saturday. I remember working the entire day, the whole day, and only leaving for dinner at Broadside Katong. Am I noob or noob? Because this is the first time trying Singapore Sling and I don't like it. It has this strange orangey taste and I think the beer even tasted better. Saw a black kitty cat while taking a walk. Oh, I love walks. I live for walks, I think, to some extent. And then we stopped at a breakwater, just laid down, enjoyed the sound of waves, some stars, and the wind and the moon. I think this was the best night of August. On Sunday night, 22nd of August, brought my mom and sis out for dinner. We had carbonara, was not bad, but the pizza was a disaster. This was at Changi Village. Finally, a successful chia pudding. This time I used coconut milk. And my sis happened to bring more coconut drink back. Wow. But this was not fantastic. This is a random lunch and it was to commemorate this yummy frozen patty which was quite good. And my very famous clam chowder. Did I tell you I lost my retainers? So midweek 25th of August I had to go to the dentist to get a scan and also, well, I tried to make the best out of the night and had dinner at KPO. Ambience was nice but the food was just okay. I mean the fries were not that fantastic but this rice here was quite good. Singapore flag spotted. This is my all-time favorite dessert, the ornie. And one day I also tried the passion fruit with yogurt. It was so sweet. Come Friday, I finally managed to catch up with my cellmate. We've been wanting to meet forever, and guess what we saw at the marsh? A kind stranger stopped us in our tracks to show us this beautiful snake that he spotted. That night I was a naughty girl because I had supper, and it was fries and McFlurry. On Saturday, I made the horrifying discovery that fungus was growing beneath my nail wraps. No! But that did not stop me from heading out. Honestly, I rarely go out this early on a Saturday because I always feel so drained from work. But this was to satisfy my breakfast craving at a place called One Man Coffee, and it was not what I expected. But I discovered my new love, unsweetened matcha latte, and also had a very deep conversation here. This was also the best black sesame ice cream I had. That evening, I made the same mistake of getting Cocoa Boss again. Oh, it's not good. Don't have to try it. But I got to try this dinner place called 11 Strands, which was quite good. Their pesto pasta was good and the beef chicks were tender. If you know me, a perfect night ends with a night walk. This is Bedok Reservoir at night, super peaceful. Sunday after cell, I cooked lunch for me and mummy, and she loved it. We all got too lazy to get a proper dinner, so I just heated up some paos that I bought from Just Dough. It's the first time I'm trying paos from this shop. They're quite interesting, the flavors are very different. I think I got the yam one and the lotus one. It's quite nice, but I think I still prefer the normal paos. Come Monday on the 30th of September, it was time to get real. Your girl got back to office. I also went to the clinic to get my antifungal medicine, and so I had to resort to eating pao for lunch. This was quite nice, banana and chocolate. Dinner was quite good. Just get the chicken burger from Genius Central. The rest of the dishes are just okay. Time usually flies when you work in the office. It's like before you know it, the day is over and the next day has started. And this was Tuesday and I had to get my matcha latte fix. I thought I could be smart and get 2 at one go with my purple deal, but turns out the other one spoiled the next day. Those colourful tiles are deceiving. They're like the gates of hell, somewhat. The lunch situation was great. This place never disappoints. It's my second time here already. The food was as yummy as before. And I came home to dinner, which was pao fan and some dumplings. That night, I surprised myself by taking a walk at the beach. I was not planning to do that, but I guess all good things come at a price. So you just end up having to do your own things late at night when it's really creepy and dark. But if not, when else will you ever get time for yourself? On Wednesday, my boss took us out to Shiraishi at the Ritz-Carlton for lunch, and the food was absolutely divine. This was to celebrate our team's trainee being called to the bar. It's honestly quite an achievement because after all, if you think about it, it's exactly what you've been working for the past 5 years or so. But because of COVID, everything seems to become so trivial, like we don't even have an actual ceremony. I didn't get one for my year. And also, everything is just on Zoom, so you kind of don't feel like you've reached a milestone, even though you really have reached a milestone and it's something to be happy about. Even though sometimes my boss works me very hard, I still feel very grateful that he at least makes time for celebrations. That same night, I had very delicious calzone and pizza from Craft Pizza near my office. Really a day of good food. And before I knew it, the colourful walls are here again, which means it was Thursday. And lunch, I had dragon fruit and surprisingly leftover pizza. I can't believe I had leftovers. I attribute it to self-control. And not to forget some snacks. My boss also kindly gave us this juice. Wow, I love juices and I guess we really needed it. was more than just juice I needed. I also needed to get my hair done. It's been more than a month since I visited my hairdresser and my hair has gone haywire. Finally, nice shampoo again. My mom knows me well. She bought me exactly what I needed for dinner. As usual, Fridays are for feasting. We had such a nice yummy spread for lunch. It was Thai food and it was the same place that I went with my colleagues before. The food here is very good. I also finally got my retainers. I forgot to tell you that I lost one side of it. I don't know how, but yeah, the dentist also gave me some free retainer cleaners, which I was super grateful for. And I jumped straight into dessert without having dinner. I also surprised myself by going for a night run. This is the main reason why I exercise, because I can't stop eating. No, just kidding. I just feel so stiff and stressed from work that sometimes exercise really helps with the mental health as well. But these were croissants from La Lune Croissant. Bought them from Somerset. They're not fantastic, but pretty decent. And my basil started flowering. I mean, they've been flowering for a long time. Just discovered more flowers. My mom also cooked dinner. And this is my all-time favorite, bread and bak kwa. I know it's super unhealthy, but I love it. And had more croissants the next morning. The raisins one were quite good though. Also gave away one of my baby basil. Okay, not really baby anymore. In other news, my Mac Air has died, so I got myself a new one on Sunday out of desperation. Clearly, I'm not the only one who's overworked. I was also a naughty girl and got the AirPods Pro. Hope they work fine. I have not opened them yet. And I ended the week with a small little jog. And look at these cool tents with my friend Jen. May God continue to light your path. See ya in my next video.